Hi, everyone. We're going to move through a therapeutic flow for our 20-minute yoga class here. Just a taster and a sampler when you don't have time to do a full hour or hour and a half practice. We can still get benefits from our practice with a shortened version and still move through the whole systems of the body and open things up. So let's start in a comfortable seated position. And whichever ankle you tend to put in front, switch it out to the other side in order to open up your non-regular hip and foot. And then take the hands behind the hips and rock gently side to side to feel each sit bone root down into the earth. And then we'll take the hands forward and continue rocking out the hips side to side as you walk the hands forward. And then from there, once you find that sweet spot where the hips get opened up, we'll inhale, lift through the heart, and exhale, hinge forward. I'll do that again one more time. Inhale, lift through the heart, and exhale, hinge forward. Now you feel the bottoms of the hips opened up. We'll take the hands and walk them out to the right. Take that left hand to the top of the left hip and press the left hip and thigh away as you lift the belly up and over your right thigh, breathing into the lower back. Reaching the chest forward, one more breath here. And then exhale, release, walking it back to center and out to the other side. Take the right hand to the right thigh and press the right thigh away as we lift the chest up and over your left thigh. Breathing into the lower back and upper back for your twist. One more breath here. And exhale, release, walk the hands back to center and guide yourselves back up. Take the hands behind the hips, open up the feet, and windshield wipe the knees side to side. And then we're going to extend the legs forward here. And walk the heels forward and pull the hips back. Now, when we pull the hips back, we want to almost think of like as if you're taking your thumbs to your hip crease here, grabbing a hold and pulling the hips back to pull the hips away from the chest and the sternum. And then lift your chest and sternum up away from the hips, and this elongates the space in your thorax here in the chest. So walking the heels forward, flex the feet, push the floor away from you, inhale, lengthen through the crown, and exhale, walk the hands forward. And then inhale, lift through the heart again, lengthen the spine, exhale, hinge a little more, keep pushing your heels forward, pulling the hips back, pressing the floor away from you with the backs of the legs. And inhale, lift the heart again. And exhale, hinge forward. And one more time. Inhale, lift the heart. And exhale, hinge forward. So we're breathing length down the backs of the legs. And then on that next breath, we're going to take the hands and reach them forward, grabbing a hold of the shins, ankles, or hooking the fingers around your big toes. Inhale, lift the heart. And exhale, hinge forward a little more, pulling the hips back as you do this. Breathing length down the backs of the legs. And then on the next breath, reach the hands forward, lift and scoop the earth up towards the ceiling, and exhale, release the hands beside you. Roll it out through the shoulders, roll the elbows back, like we're swimming the elbows back, one elbow at a time. And then swim both elbows back. And on the next breath, press the elbows back towards each other, and then exhale, round out your spine. One more time. Inhale, pull the elbows back. And exhale, round out your spine. Give yourself a big bear hug. And one more time. Inhale, pull the elbows back. And exhale, give yourself a big hug. And then release the hands behind you. Fingertips facing forward or behind you, whatever's more comfortable. Wrists more or less under the shoulders. We're going to bend the knees here. I like to have my fingertips facing forward. If that's too intense for the wrists, then have the fingertips point behind you. So from here, we're going to inhale, lift the hips, Squeeze the glutes, press the hips up, and exhale, release the hips back down. We'll do that 2 more times, moving with the breath. Inhale, lift the hips, squeeze the glutes, press the hips up, and exhale, release the hips back down. And 1 more time. Inhale, squeeze the glutes, press the hips up, and exhale, release the hips back down. Cross the ankles, grab a hold of the shins, and give yourself a little hug in, making yourself tiny, rounding out the spine. And then exhale, release. Hands behind the hips again, open up the feet, and windshield wipe the knees side to side. Breathing into the lower back as we windshield wipe the knees side to side. And then bringing the knees back up to center. We're going to bring the right ankle above the left knee. If this hurts the knee or the hip, then you have the option here to straighten the leg out in front of you. So otherwise, we're going to walk the hands in. And when we do this, we'll feel the outer right hip open up. Inhale, lift through the heart. And exhale, hinge at the hips, reaching the chest towards your shin. And then as you reach the chest towards the shin, gently rocking it side to side, you'll feel the outer hip open up. Just gently rocking, breathing into the hip. 1 more breath here. And then release the hands, walk them back, extend the leg forward, and windshield wipe the knees side to side. Just releasing here. So some rocking patterns that help to release holding patterns in the hips. And then we'll do the other side. Bring the left ankle above the right knee and walk the hands in. And again, if that's too intense, you can extend that bottom leg forward, and that is your option there. Otherwise, walking the hands in, inhale, lift through the heart, and exhale, hinge at the hips, reaching your chest towards your shin. If that leg is extended, then we simply hinge at the hips and continue forward. And then just gently rock it side to side. That's going to open up the side of the hip. 2 more breaths here, rocking it out. And then on that next breath, release the hands, walk back, open up the feet, and windshield wipe the knees side to side. And extend the legs forward and shake the legs out. So we're going to massage the quads here. So use your hands to pound along the sides of the quads and the tops of the quads, and use the knuckles to scrape along the sides of the quads and the tops of the quads and the inner thighs. And then use your knuckles to scrape the sides of the hips and the tops of the glutes. Just helps to release any tension and holding pattern there. And then on that next breath, shake it out through the legs, open up the feet, and windshield wipe the feet side to side. We're going to swing the legs behind us to come onto all fours. So swinging the legs behind. On all fours. Just tap it out here through the shins. Lift the shins and rock the shins gently side to side. And we'll create some hip circles here, releasing the shins down, large hip circles. And then opposite direction, large hip circles. And let your head just kind of hang and roll in the opposite direction. And then back up on all fours. We're going to do some hip rocks here. So help your right leg forward into a lunge on the right. And you can take some blocks underneath the hands here. As we rock the hips open, we'll inhale, press the hips forward, and exhale, pull the hips back. So just rocking it out back and forth. Inhale, hips forward. Exhale, pull the hips back. And as you rock, reach the heart forward as well. Inhale, hips and heart forward. And exhale, pull the hips back, straightening out that front leg to the best of your ability. If that front leg doesn't straighten out, that's fine. We just work within our capacity, within your appropriate range of challenge for your own body here. 1 more breath. And then on that next breath, when we come forward, we'll take the right hand to the inside of the right foot, wiggle the right foot off, the edge of your yoga mat so that we're nice and wide through that right hip here. And this is where you want to maybe want to take blocks underneath the elbows. Inhale, lift through the heart, and exhale, lower down onto your blocks, 1 or 2 blocks underneath your elbows. You do have the option, if you want, to curl the left toes under and straighten out that left leg. So that's your option if you want it. Otherwise, we're just going to rock it out side to side. Just gently rocking the range of motion here through the hips. On that next breath, use your hands to guide yourselves back up. And we're going to pull the hips back and straighten out that side leg. Flex the foot, and then from here, slowly slide the leg away from you to open up the hamstring. You're only just going to let it slide out as far to the side as is comfortable for you. Again, appropriate challenge. So you can take blocks underneath your hands here if you feel like you need a little bit more support. And then gently, again, rock it side to side. As you rock side to side, you're opening up through the hip, the front of the left hip. One more breath. On that next breath, we're going to pull the hips back. So I want you to imagine there's a string at your tailbone, and pull that string of the tailbone back. That just helps to slide that right leg effortlessly back into place on all fours. So back on all fours, let the head hang, and just rock your hips side to side. Letting that neutralize the holding pattern in the hips here as you rock side to side. And then we'll do the other side. So use your hands here to help that left leg forward into lunge on the left. And rocking it out through the hips. We'll inhale, press the hips and heart forward, and exhale, pull the hips back. I will do that one more time. A couple more times, pardon me. Inhale, hips and heart forward, and exhale, pull the hips back. Using your breath as your kind of pendulum, inhaling, hips and heart forward, exhaling, pulling the hips back. A couple more times. Inhale, reach the heart forward as well. Exhale, pull the hips back. Do use your blocks underneath your hands here if you're struggling to reach the floor. Hear yourself breathe. You want to hear that soft whisper at the back of the throat, which is like, sounds like the wind coming through the leaves of a tree. That soft whisper in the throat. And on that next breath, when we come forward, bring your left hand to the inside of the left foot and wiggle the left foot off the edge of your yoga mat. So you're nice and wide in your stance here. And then inhale, lift through the heart, and exhale, lower down onto your elbows. So on your elbows here, you may again want a block or 2 underneath the elbows because we don't want the spine to be rounded out. If the spine's rounded out, then we're really struggling to get down low. So that's telling us that we need something underneath the elbows to prop us up and give us more distance from the floor, to raise the floor to meet us. So we're rocking the hips side to side. One more breath here, rocking it out. And on that next breath, use your hands to guide yourselves up. And pull the hips back, which is going to straighten out that side leg. I'm just going to turn sideways so you guys can see a little bit better here, and plus move the furniture out of the way. And on that next breath, we're going to slide that left foot out to the side, getting that hamstring opener there. If possible, try to rotate the foot open, which means that you're just rolling the pinky toe down towards the direction of the floor. And again, take blocks underneath the hands if you need that extra support or height. And you're only going to come down as low as the hamstring allows. So if the hips are up like here, that's completely fine. I just want you to only go to your own zone that is appropriate challenge for your body until you feel the hamstring open up. Once you find where that spot is, you stop there and we gently rock side to side to breathe some increased range of motion very gently into that area. Breathing into the hamstring. One more breath here. And then imagining that string at your tailbone again. Pull the string back, which is going to just slide that leg in. My yoga mat's getting pulled in there, but that's fine. Slowly draw the leg in. Back on all fours, rock the hips side to side, and draw some hip circles here, large, big circles with the hips. And then on that next breath, coming back up onto all fours, child's pose, open up the knees, sit back onto the heels, walk the hands forward, relaxing the forehead down. And just rock the hips side to side, feeling that wave move up the spine, eventually rocking your forehead side to side. On that next breath, we're going to walk the hands in to guide ourselves up onto our seats. So coming onto our seats here, we'll bring the soles of the feet together, take the hands behind the hips and give the hips a little scoot forward and rock the knees side to side. And then from here, we're going to interlace the fingers underneath the feet. If that's challenging to do, then we can take the hands instead to the shins and hold on to the shins. So what we want to do here is press the knees down, press the feet down, and then lean back, which is going to pull the shoulders open. You'll feel the shoulder muscles open up here. So I'll demonstrate it with the fingers interlaced underneath the feet, but remember that you can also hold on to the shins. Now, when we lean back, I'll turn sideways so you can see better. We don't want to round out the spine when you lean back. We want to keep the chest lifted and then lean back, which really pulls the shoulder muscles open. This is a stretch for the upper trapezius muscles, connecting the shoulders to the neck, the spine of the neck. So pressing the knees down, continue leaning back, breathe space into the shoulders, and then relax the chin towards the chest. And slow motion, roll the head gently side to side. This opens up the sides and back of the neck. And on that next breath, inhale the head back up to center, and then release the hands. And the hands might be a little sore there, so we just shake the hands out from holding in place and do a couple figure eights with the wrists and opposite direction figure eights. Then we release the hands down, extend the legs forward, and shake it out. We're going to come back into tortoise pose here. So bring the heels back in. I'll just turn so you guys can see better again. Bringing the heels back in, we have about 1.5 feet of space between the hips and the heels. And then pull the flesh of the seat open so that you're sitting on the front part of the sit bone. And how you feel that there is you take the hands behind the hips, kind of scoot yourself forward a little bit, and you'll feel your body weight on the front of the bone that you sit on versus the back. When we sit on the back part of the sit bone, we round out. I'll show you here. When we sit on the back part of the sit bone, we tend to round out through the spine, the lower back. When we sit on the front of the sit bone, notice how it tilts the hips back and recreates that gentle lordotic curve at your lower back. And that's what we want there, a little curve at the lower back. That way, when we hinge forward, we're coming with a true hinge at the hips versus compromising and compressing the lower lumbar spine. So inhale, lift through the heart. And exhale, hinge at the hips. And keep your hands behind you to push the chest forward. And try to lengthen as much space between the chest and the belly button, keeping that space there between the chest and the belly button long. And again, inhale, lift through the heart. And exhale, reach the heart forward as if you want to rest your chest on your feet towards your big toes. And one more breath. Inhale, lift the heart. And exhale, hinge at the hips. So you really feel this in the outer hip here. You can even gently rock side to side because that opens up the muscles around the edges of the sit bone there. And then we're going to take the hands and grab a hold of whatever's comfortable, either the feet or the shins, and pull yourself forward. I'll turn so you guys can see better here. Or you can even take the hands underneath the shins, wrap around the feet. Inhale, lift through the heart, and exhale, pull yourself forward. Meanwhile, keep pressing the knees and the feet down as you use the arms as leverage to pull the chest forward. One more breath here. And then release slowly and guide yourself back up. Help release the holding pattern there by bringing the knees up, hands behind the hips, and windshield wipe the knees side to side. We'll do one last hamstring opener here before we close off for our kind of quick yet still opening up, deeply opening up therapeutic flow. So opening up the legs into a letter V, take the hands behind the hips and give yourself that little scoot forward again. And just like we did earlier, see if you can, with the hands behind you, push yourself a little forward so that you're sitting on the front edge of the sit bone versus the back edge of the sit bone. And then from there, again, we inhale, lift through the heart, and exhale, come forward. And you can now take the hands forward. And notice here there's a tendency for the feet to roll forward. See if you can keep rolling the feet back as you come forward so that the pinky toes are stretching back towards the floor. That's going to rotate the hips open. You can even take your hands to your hips, roll the inner thighs back, roll the shins back so that your femur, your thigh bone is literally rolling open. The muscles that attach there to the hip joint are rolling back and open. And keep the hands there for leverage as you slowly lower down to, again, your appropriate challenge. Inhale, lift the heart. And exhale, lower. Maybe it's just a millimeter, doesn't matter. So long as you're feeling it, that's what matters. Doesn't matter how far you come into the pose, so long as you're feeling it. And one more time. Inhale, lift through the heart. And exhale, coming forward. Then on that next breath, very slowly guide yourselves back up. And then use your hands to help bring the legs together. And shake it out through the legs and bring the circulation back in since you opened up pretty deep there in the hamstrings. And just bringing circulation with the knuckles. We'll bring the legs in, back into your comfortable cross-legged position. Just rock it out side to side here as we finish off. We'll bring the hands to the heart, rub the hands together, feel that energy warming up through the hands there, and use that to smooth out the body. The arms, chest, hair, back, and legs. Shaking it out when you're done and thanking yourselves for joining in for a quick little 20-minute practice. Have an awesome rest of your day.